A woman has recently moved into a new apartment and has been experiencing strange activity ever since she moved in. She often hears strange screaming coming from the nearby forest and also notices objects moved from their original position. In order to feel more safe, she decided to install some security cameras inside her home to potentially capture the source of the strange events. Recently, one of her neighbors mentioned they saw a strange creature lurking by her apartment, and to be extra cautious since the forest nearby is rumored to be the home of several odd entities. Late one evening, she was doing some laundry when her security camera captured something that would forever haunt her. As the video begins, we can see a young lady making her way to a drying rack. Everything seems rather ordinary at first, until she finishes up and walks out of the room. If we focus our attention on the front door, we can see a skinny, pale figure crawling by the front of the house. Many people in the original comment section are convinced she captured authentic evidence of the cryptid known as the Rake. Although the Rake is a fictional character from a creepypasta, many are convinced that they actually exist in real life. Whether it was a rake or a nosy neighbor, the footage is definitely creepy. A man recently moved into a new house in Italy and was excited about his new journey. He mentions that he moved into a small wooden house in a very remote village in northern Italy where the Alpine Trail begins. He lived in the city for most of his life and was ready for a peaceful change. In the beginning, everything was perfect, until one night he began to hear some unusual noises. The strange sounds were coming from the attic, and it sounded like footsteps and objects being moved along the floor. At first he thought the noises were simply the house settling since it was an old house, but the noises began to get more intense over time. One night he was relaxing in bed when he heard the same noises start up once again. He grabbed his phone and started to record. Just moments into the video, we can hear strange noises coming from the attic. It sounds like footsteps directly above, along with something heavy being dragged. He does his best to follow the noises along the attic floor and eventually makes his way to the ladder. As he bravely climbs up the ladder, he begins to pan his camera back and forth, but doesn't see anything out of the ordinary. Eventually, we hear a chime of some sort, and when he looks to see what could have made the noise, his camera captures a chair whipping back completely on its own. He mentioned that after this incident he was very shaken up and had to stay at a friend's house in the meantime. A family in Southwest Virginia recently captured a strange encounter behind their house. Their house is located deep in the woods, and the family has several trail cameras throughout the property. They are frequent hunters, and they always like to keep an eye out for any potential wildlife. Most of the time, the camera captures small animals such as deer or raccoons. The video they received a few months back shows a small opossum wandering at night, but there was something in the video they overlooked. Just off in the distance, a pair of glowing eyes could be seen lurking in the darkness. The family is unsure what exactly they captured and are worried something terrifying is lurking on their property. We can clearly see the small opossum walking down the clear path, but just off to its left, a pair of reflective eyes are close by in the shadows. Many people in the original comment section were quick to point out that it was simply a spider web reflecting the light from the camera. There are others that believe it was potentially a bear, but the distance between the eyes seems too far apart. Others speculated that it was potentially a cryptid, but it's too dark to distinguish any clear features. A family owns an old manor and rents it out on Airbnb. Over the years, they would receive some reviews about some former clients experiencing strange things in the house. The owner of the manor didn't think much of it since the poor reviews were few and far between. Recently, the unusual experiences have started to pick up, so much so that she decided to stay in the manor by herself 1 week. She placed several cameras throughout the house with hopes of capturing whoever or whatever was responsible for the mysterious activity. Many guests reported seeing strange shadow figures, along with hearing disembodied footsteps in the attic. One night, when she was in the middle of her 1-week stay, she was awakened by some unusual sounds.
And this whole time I'm getting ring notifications that there is motion in my attic. And mind you, we moved the camera to this small room off of the attic. So like the timing right now is a little crazy. Thomas!
As the video begins, we can hear loud footsteps directly in the attic. She claims that once she moved the camera in the attic, the strange activity only picked up. Once she leaves her bed and walks into the family room, we can see a cord that's attached to the lamp moving entirely on its own. Towards the end of the video, she shows the notifications on her phone that their camera detected motion. When she opens the video, we can see the attic door slowly opening and closing by itself. While many people in the original comment section are convinced the old manor is haunted, the skeptics are certain the family is doing this on their own to generate more business. A couple friends went to grab some late-night food, and one of them felt the urge to go play in the slides. They were the only ones in the restaurant, and no other kids were in sight. They began to climb up and through the slides, and everything seemed rather ordinary at first. One of the friends decided to record the entire experience and filmed herself weaving through the tunnels. She mentioned several times that she felt as though she was too big for the playground, but continued to push on. In one specific area of the tunnel, her microphone captured something that left the friends completely speechless. They didn't notice the voice at the time, but eventually when they watched the video back, they both heard it loud and clear. They are unsure about the history of the restaurant and are starting to suspect it may have a dark past.
You guys, I can't do this. I feel like I keep bonking my head too. That's crazy. There's like actually down here. This is literally for human hamsters. Oh my god, someone bashed in this window. I feel like this is plastic.
As she climbs through the playful tunnels, she eventually reaches a section where her phone's microphone captures the voice of a young child.
This is literally for... This is literally for... This is literally for...
It is difficult to explain the voice away since it clearly sounds like a child's voice, but clearly there are no children present. At the time, she didn't hear the disembodied voice, and it wasn't until later they both heard the chilling recording. It's tough to decipher exactly what the voice is trying to say, but we can all agree it's definitely creepy.